Julianna Forlano. You're watching Free Speech TV. We are here in Denver, Colorado at the National Conference for Media Reform. I have with me Susan Crawford, author of Captive Audience, your new book. Has it come out yet?
Yes, it's out. It's called Captive Audience, Telecom Industry and Monopoly Power in the New Gilded Age.
Tell us about it.
Well, the book describes what's happened over the last 20 years to telecommunications, in particular high-speed internet access. We've got two giant monopoly markets. On the wired side, cable controls high-speed internet access in America. On the wireless side, it's all Verizon and AT&T, and the book explains all this.
So you call it the New Gilded Age. Do people really know it's the New Gilded Age, or are we still just believing everything's fine?
Americans like to think that we're always in front when it comes to any technological development. What we're not recognizing is that there are few people, the shareholders of these giant corporations, do extremely well as a result of their high profits and some market power, but that the country as a whole is suffering because we don't have adequate internet access in America.
What do you think adequate internet access would do for America?
Oh, let me count the ways. No, this is a big issue. This is like electrification. So 100 years ago, 90% of farmers didn't have electricity, and rich kids in New York City were playing with electric toys. It was considered to be a luxury, not a utility. We've got the same situation right now for high-speed internet access. So a third of Americans don't subscribe. 19 million Americans can't. It's not available wherever they live.
So the underlying idea is that the internet has something to offer that other forms of communication and information gathering don't.
Well, the internet is basically, it's the replacement for the old-fashioned phone line. It is our basic communications medium around the globe. So other countries take this very seriously and make sure the internet access is cheap and ubiquitous, available everywhere. The United States has not put in place policies that would make that possible.
And you think it's a policy issue, not necessarily a capitalistic endeavor issue?
Well, these things don't happen by accident,
right.
And the magic of the market doesn't bring very high-speed internet access to Americans. What happens if you deregulate, as we have, is that the companies just divide markets and charge whatever they want to and cherry pick. It's not evil,
no.
It's also not irrational, but it's not great for the country.
Isn't that unfortunate that it's not evil, it's not irrational, but it does serve their capitalist bottom line, right? So that's why they're doing it. And that's
right.
Isn't that the point of regulation, is to be able to mitigate against, say, just pure capitalistic endeavor?
Well, the regulatory ideal is to unleash all of us, human productivity, our ability for all of us to speak. That's the point.
No one talks about that.
That's the regulatory ideal.
Because on Fox News and the mainstream media, they talk about regulation curtails freedom, where regulation is actually put in place to unleash.
Exactly.
That's
really
the
idea. In fact,
no one says that.
This is not a right-left issue. In fact, Tea Partiers really get this because they want fiber to their homes too. And the problem is that there are a few cartel operators who aren't interested in having that happen. And so actually, this is not about getting in the way of the free market, because the free market then does really well on top of things like highways and basic communications infrastructure, but we haven't taken that first step. We've got highways, we don't have very good communications infrastructure in America.
What do you think is the role of independent media in spreading what it is your book is talking about?
Well, people all over the country are very interested in this issue. This is like global warming or banking. It's a great big social policy issue that you need to study a little bit to understand. So independent media could be digging into the power of these cartels, could be telling the human interest stories about what happens when the situation changes. We need to make sure that Americans understand just how badly we're doing in the global race to have adequate communications infrastructure.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Where can the audience find you?
I'm Susan Crawford. I live in Greenwich Village, New York City, but you can find me at S. Crawford on Twitter, and we're on Free Speech TV.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're watching Free Speech TV. I'm Julianna Forlano.